Good evening, everyone. I am Renetta Stanley, your special education advocate, and we are going to be talking about special education reform this evening. So, by a show of hands, how many of you have a student or know of a family member or loved one that is a student with disabilities? Okay, so let me share my connection with you. I am a parent of a couple of children that have unique needs, and they're on different ends of their needs. However, they still are classified as students with disabilities. And through their journey, our journey together, we have learned how to navigate the system of education in order to have positive outcomes for them. My oldest is a student at a local college, and my youngest is a rising ninth grader honor roll student. So I know it very well, and I'm very proud of them, and they have given me the strength to continue on with my journey as a special education advocate. And my desire is to help other parents to experience the same joys that I have received as well. So let's talk about what special education is. Special education is a service. How many of you have thought that special education was a place? It is not. Those were the days of old when it used to be the classroom down the hall or in the corner in the dark hole. It is no longer that. Special education is a service that is designed to meet the unique needs of a student between the ages of 3 to 21 years of age. Well, then you say to yourself, well, how does the student get those services? Those services are documented on a legal binding document called the Individual Education Plan, or for short, the IEP. On that legal binding document outlines all of the services that that student with unique needs should be receiving. And here is where we get into our discussion. So at this point, we are looking at effectively restructuring special education, and it will require our school districts to rethink their approach of delivery of services to effectively assist with appropriately addressing students with disabilities needs in the classroom, increasing post-secondary opportunities, and providing parents the necessary tools to make informed educational decisions on their students' behalf. So how do we reform things? First, we need to increase our post-secondary outcomes for our students. And how do we do that? What we need to do is we need to realign our physical resources, our money. Budget is a big topic issue, but we already have the resources available to us. All we need to do is realign and restructure those things in order to produce the outcomes that we seek. So what do? We take the high dollar admin jobs and relocate those positions within the classroom settings, within the buildings where the students are. They have the knowledge, they have the expertise. It's time to bring that knowledge and expertise to the forefront where our students are. We're going to give them the strategies that they need by using the resources that we already have, the reading programs and the math programs. We're going to utilize our professionals that we already have with our physical therapists and our occupational therapists in order to get those positive outcomes, rewriting those goals for those students in order to produce those outcomes for independent living. The Governor's Office of Maryland said that graduation rates were up 3.3% between the years of 2012 and 2013. However, the Center on Education and Policy reports that a testing gap of students with disabilities was at 1.4%. That doesn't seem a lot, but it's significant because when you look at outcomes, you want to see a steady trajectory of increase. You don't want to see negative or red line numbers because it shows that there's a deficit there. So when you take children out of a testing gap and you're no longer testing them, that affects those numbers on that outcome side. And so we need to do some changing and rearranging to include those students so that we can get those outcomes and get some true data on where our students are defaulting and what we need to do to align again those resources in order to have positive outcomes. The National Council on Disability Youth states that between the 18 and 21 years of age are receiving SSI or SSDI benefits. That's 355,000 people. And of that, 36,000 people were getting benefits from both programs. So if you have that many, almost 360,000 people applying and getting benefits, why aren't they working? Why aren't they in colleges and in post-secondary schooling opportunities? Because they weren't prepared in the school system K through 12. And so we have a real opportunity to turn that ship around for the K through 12 student to produce those outcomes for the 18 to 24, giving them an opportunity to go out and get jobs or seek higher learning if they so choose. So let me ask you a few questions. What do you think we should do to change special education? What would be the ideal approach for you? What are your thoughts on special education reform? Where do we start? Yes.
I think it needs to start with letting us as the parents have a say in what we do and to give us more information so that when we come to the IEP meetings, we will know what everybody is saying and it won't seem like it's something we don't understand.
Absolutely. Parental input is one of those things that is a right that is transferred to the parents. So you're right. We have to do a better job on educating parents on their rights, what to ask for, and how to effectively ask for that in order to have a direct connection and on the outcome of our students. We have to do that. That is correct. So how do you propose that we do that? Do we have workshops? What do we do? That's a real question here. Yes, sir.
Excuse me, I think you need to start with having workshops with not only the parents, but mostly the staff, the teachers, and the admin staff in the schools. Because I think some of the teachers don't understand what really goes on in the IEP meeting, or really what is an IEP.
Right.
So I think you should start with that, with the staff and with the teachers also.
So, like personnel development or training or something of that sort to really get them to have a thorough understanding.
Yes.
But that falls right in alignment with aligning those resources that we already have. And then for the things that we don't have, let's put a team of parents together. If we don't have the school personnel to do so, let's go after some of these grants and get whatever we need for our children. Let that not be the barrier. Let the need not be the barrier to what we have to get for our kids in order to increase those outcomes. So if we look at the data points here, we will see our graduation rates. We will also see in the back of the room, we will also see all of the data that we have talked about from the governor's office and from the Social Security Administration. And when you start looking at those data points, it's absolutely shocking to know that our children are not being prepared for the life's journey. And so tonight I would ask that you take an active part as a parent. Go to the Board of Education meetings. Write your local representatives to let them know how you feel, where you want your tax dollars to go, and how you want them to be spent. And if that's not enough at the local level, go to the federal level. We vote these people into office, and it's high time that they start working for us. And if there aren't any more questions, I would like to thank you all for being such a wonderful participatory audience, and I wish you well on your journey on special education reform and assisting your student with disabilities.